Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin throws it. Do you believe this? That's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it tied to score.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit the deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. This will win it. This will win it. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause, and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look, turns it loose, and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Roy Trin pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Shane Bieber rounds third. This one belongs to the Reds.
That's hit pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
1 out, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. Oh, he gets one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
All right. Welcome to Chatterbox Reds pregame show. My name is Max. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. It's just me today, so I didn't have anyone to do a little mic check with at the beginning. So we'll see. We'll see if someone responds and says they can hear me. Let's hope so. So I'm just going to get going. Cincinnati Reds, it's a must-win for them today. They are 4.5 back in the wild card with Zack Littell on the mound against Shane Bieber. It's a big one for the Reds. In my opinion, if they don't win today, then we might have to wrap it up. It'll still be a big series with the Mets. You sweep your 2 back, but let's be honest here. You win today, you're 4 back, and then you sweep the Mets. Of course, this is all hopeful thinking, but then you're 1 back starting Monday. And like I said on the show this a couple days ago, like there's a chance on Monday that the season's over. Like they could be 6-7 back by then, and we're really over, and we're behind the Giants. I mean, the Giants now have caught up to us. It's crazy. Is it that crazy though? I don't know. We've been playing terrible baseball, so. But here we are. It's a shame, you couldn't pull out last night. Lodolo not being able to pitch, it stinks. I'm not going to crush the guy for being sick and having chills, but I do have a question, and maybe you guys can can help me out. But why didn't Martinez pitch last night? I believe he was warming up late in the game. So my question is, why didn't he pitch in the first few innings? It didn't really make much sense to me. He's a starter. He's been a starter pretty much all year. Most of his Reds tenure, he's been a starter. Even if he couldn't give you full length, why can't he go 3 innings and then you keep your bullpen as normal bullpen guys? You put Barlow in a little bit later in the fourth and maybe the fifth too, or something like that. It was just all weird to me how they handled last night. It didn't really make much sense. I'm not going to crush Barlow too much. I'm sure he wasn't expecting to start. I'm sure he found out before we did, but still, it just kind of stunk. Um, Everything about last night was a game you needed to win. A game when you score 11, when you score 9 runs, you expect to win those games, and it's just a shame that they couldn't. That they couldn't pull it out. But here we are today with Zack Littell on the bump and this Reds lineup. I'll go ahead and run through it. TJ Frieda will lead it off. Noelvi Marte, Ellie De La Cruz, Austin Hayes, Gavin Lux, Spencer Steer in the lineup. No Sal Stewart today. Key Brian Hayes, Jose Trevino, and Matt McLean, who continues to hit the ball pretty well. If you're one of the people who is just like, man, they should do this with the lineup, I'm sorry, but they're just not. It's September 3rd, and they're not going to change the lineup at this point. This is what we're going to roll with. The rest of the year. Ellie's going to hit third. Friedel's going to hit leadoff. Hayes is going to hit 4 or 5. We haven't seen Andujar in the lineup for a while. You guys are mentioning him in the chat. He's had a calf or quad injury. No, not on the IL. The Reds don't place guys on the IL unless you've broken a bone, or fractured it, like Tyler Stevenson. So this is the Reds lineup, and this has just kind of been not the same lineup all year, but the same idea of the lineup all year. Marte hitting second, I like. If it's not going to be Ellie, who I would hit Ellie second, but like I said, it's September 3rd. This isn't gonna. They're not just gonna randomly start changing the lineup. Honestly, with this coaching staff, I wouldn't be surprised if the last week they just went crazy and just changed it completely, just to mess with the fan base. So it wouldn't surprise me. But here we are. Yeah, Andujar not in the lineup. No Sal Stewart today either. Sal Stewart, it hasn't been great, his at bats. He kind of got robbed yesterday on a 2-1 pitch that was off the plate, and it was called a strike and changed the count completely. But he hasn't come up and just torn the cover off the ball, which is fine. He's 2 games in. I think Sal Stewart's going to be a great hitter at this level. So I don't mind, but I don't mind Steer getting the start today. He hasn't played for a few days. Maybe he can, pop one or something random. Maybe he comes up with bases loaded when he's best, apparently, and get a big hit. But question in the chat here: does the Reds, the front office, really want to play the playoffs this year? I don't think so. I mean, they can say they want to, but the moves have not shown that they want to do that. All year. I mean, we've just kind of watched the same guys struggle in the lineup, and they never really did anything about it. Austin Hayes, for a while now, hasn't hit right-handed pitching. He crushed that ball last night, but overall, it hasn't been great for Hayes against righties. McLean has struggled a lot of the year. Steer has been pretty up and down. Yet they just continue to roll these guys out every day. And Espinola against left-handed pitching. Sorry, John, but it's just not great. So yeah, this is just the Reds lineup. This is what they're gonna do. They've sunk their teeth in. They're gonna hope it, works. I think they'll hope it works. I don't really know anymore. Who knows what they want? But yeah, let's go over to the Blue Jays side. We'll go back to Zack Littell in a little bit. George Springer will lead it off. He'll play left field. He has been incredible this series. Addison Barger will play right field and hit second. Vladimir Guerrero at first. Bichette, Varsho, Kirk. That's the same. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Ty France, Andres Jimenez at second, and Ernie Clement at third. IKF was there last night. It wasn't really that pretty for IKF. He made some not great plays last game. But yeah, Clement's over there. This Blue Jays lineup's really good. That's just how it is. Zack Littell has faced them once this year, and he went 7 1/3. He did give up 3 homers. That's kind of what Littell does. He's going to give up homers. One each by Vladdy, Barger, and Nathan Lukes, who's not in the lineup tonight, interestingly enough. But he went 7 1/3. Only struck out 2, allowed 8 hits, so he kind of danced around danger. But when you give up 3 runs and 7+ innings, I'll take that any day of the week. And I think everyone would take that right now. The shape of the Reds bullpen they're in, Pagan hasn't been great lately. Everyone kind of got smoked last night. Besides Reaver San Martin, shout out Reaver. That was awesome last night, by the way. Good to see Reaver back. Tommy John in 2022 or 2023, I forget at this point, but he was at one time like their Reds number 3 starter. We've come a long way since the Reaver starting days, but it was good to see Reaver back up and throw the ball pretty well. And they congratulated him by sending him to AAA today for Lyon Richardson. There were people upset by that. It was kind of weird. I feel like you would just send down Zaletta, who's pitched the last 2 days. Now we only have one lefty in the bullpen, and it's Suter. And he smoked yesterday. Hasn't really been great lately. So I thought it was a little weird that they sent down Reaver, the reliever. But yeah, something in the chat talking about Ellie needs to step up. I mean, I kind of agree. I love Ellie, but he hasn't really. He just hasn't been great. He's been hitting the ball better lately, but I'm just so confused where the power went. Ellie's a guy I expect to hit 30 homers every year, especially in Great American, and that just hasn't happened. I think he's still at 19, I believe, and he's been on 19 since July 31st. They said on the broadcast last night. I think he's got 1 homer in the last 2 months or month and a half. It's pretty wild. Yeah. So if Ellie can get going, it'd be nice. Even if they don't make the playoffs, it'd be nice to see just Ellie get on a heater to end the year. But we'll see what happens. Shane Bieber starting on the other side for the Toronto Blue Jays, one of the best pitchers over the last 8 years in Major League Baseball, but he's coming off Tommy John surgery, has not thrown much this year. This will only be his 3rd start. He is 1-1 in 11 1/3 innings with a 2.38 earned run average, 15 strikeouts, so the strikeouts are still there. He's only walked too. He's looked like Shane Bieber. There were always, not always, but there were some Reds rumors with Shane Bieber several times, but nothing ever happened there. Was it Bieber or was it Class A? I don't know. It's probably good that they didn't trade for Class A. That would be such a Reds thing. Trade for him and then he's suspended for gambling. That wouldn't be. Shout out Pete Rose. But yeah, as you guys can see, it's just me today. So if you have any questions or things you want to talk about in the chat, throw it in there. I can be here until 6. So this long name says I hope he throws like Justin Bieber. That'd be cool. That would have been a gamble for the Reds. Good one. I like that. Suter would have been out of the inning if Sal stops the ground ball. I think you're talking about the play to his right. I didn't really see a good view of that play to really tell me that he should have got. If he was playing back, he probably gets to it, but I think there was a guy on first, so he had to hold him on. So I don't really blame Sal for that. Where's Benson? Honestly, I forget Benson's on the team. Truthfully, he never plays. It's unbelievable how he never plays. I know Hayes homered yesterday, but what's the problem with giving Benson a shot? Like he's had some big hits this year. He's got on big stretches. We know he can go deep. Like, and this team needs power. I don't understand why why this coaching staff just doesn't play guys who deserve chances, and Benson, I think, deserves the chance. In the chat, Troy Taylor says, "Where does Sal Stewart fit in the lineup in the future?" Um, honestly, like I don't think he's going to be at first. I don't think his long-term position is first base. Um, truthfully, I think they're going to try him in left field this offseason and come back in spring and see how that looks. The outfield going forward, it's not great in my opinion. Marte and Wright, fine with that. Very fine with that. Friedel in center. Look, I like Friedel a lot, but um, I think you can get better than Friedel out there. The second half of this year hasn't been great offensively. Defensively, too, he's weirdly been not great. Just weird routes to balls, um, overthrowing guys, just missing the cutoff. It's just, I don't know. Friedel just has had a weird year to me. There was that like month and a half stretch where he like didn't get out and just walked all the time. Um, but it is what it is. We'll see what they do with Friedel. He's also lost a bunch of speed, so I could see them just pushing him to a corner. But I doubt they do that. We'll say one thing about Friedel, man, that guy can bunt. I normally don't like bunts that much, but man, that guy can lay down a drag bunt with anyone. Mellow Max, that's interesting nickname. Maybe I am a little mellow. On here at least. Do you think the Reds will be a little more aggressive on the base pass? No, never. They did no. Nothing has shown me that they will ever be aggressive on the base pass. Marte, we talk about Ellie not running much, but I feel like Marte has been pretty aggressive on the bases. So I wonder if that's his call to be aggressive and just kind of say, screw it, I'm going to go. Um, that could be it. Or I don't know. Or they just like him running more than Ellie because Ellie's been having this leg thing. I don't know. But I have noticed that Marte, I feel like, is more aggressive on the bases at this point. Should we see all the prospects play out the year? Sal, CES, Benson, Hines, Marte. Um, maybe Monday. Like I said, if the Reds are 6 or 7 out of it Monday, I wouldn't mind them putting the guys who are actually injured on the injured list. That's something they just don't do. They play guys down all the time. But if Steer's actually hurt and they're out of it Monday, put him on the injured list. If Ellie's actually still hurt, put him on the injured list. And then yeah, that frees opportunities up for if you want to get CES another shot, which I wouldn't mind. Yeah, if you want to give him a shot, Hines. How much do I don't know how much more I believe in Hines at this point. Yeah, it's been fine. He's been pretty good in AAA, I think. But yeah, when he's come up here, it's just been really bad. And I don't know if I mean, if you want to play him a week and just see what happens, sure, go ahead. Does it change much? Probably not. Benson, they're not going to play Will Benson. Unfortunately, I want them to, but it's not going to happen. Maybe if Friedel is playing with an injury, they decide to put him on the injured list at some point. But yeah, there's been nothing that's said Friedel's hurt, I don't think. What do you guys put this in the chat? Cowboy went on a little rant I won't say rant, but he had some things to say last night about Chase Burns, his bullpen yesterday, and how he should have been activated, and how other teams would have been more vigilant with that and put him on the active roster. I don't know. I don't even know if he's really hurt. Truthfully, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't hurt. I mean, he apparently has an elbow injury that is throwing already, and it sounds like he never stopped throwing, and no one seems to be concerned about the injury. So, like the injury. So I think he's fine. I think they're just being cautious and trying to keep innings. But then it goes back to the thing, like, what was the plan? Was this the plan the entire time? Because then they were talking about the bullpen, and then all of a sudden he's out. I don't know. I really don't think they expected Chase Burns to be this good and be up here already. But here we are. So I don't know. If Burns is healthy, though, why not? Why is he not here? Like, he could have thrown that bullpen yesterday in the game, especially if he's healthy. I hope he does pitch again this season. Jim Day, I didn't think seemed like super confident in that. Um, but if he's healthy and he doesn't pitch the rest of the year, I'm sorry, but that's really frustrating to me. Um, says WTI Trader says Hines and Benson are good dudes. I completely agree. Benson seems I'm sure Hines is a great guy too, but we've seen more of Benson. Like interact as a person. He seems like a great dude. Hines the same, even though I haven't seen him as much. But yeah, say Burns should be the closer the rest of the year. I don't think he should be the closer. Just because that's really high leverage, and there's a chance he's 22 years old. There's a chance he comes in and tries to throw like 105, and I don't think in September as the Reds are fading. Have they faded yet? In my opinion, yes. I did the eulogy last Wednesday with Winter, and I still stand by that. I think the Reds are done, but not to give you guys too much hope, but I think they're done. Yeah, but I wouldn't have Chase Burns closing games. I wouldn't mind him coming in and being like the bulk guy, like Littell or Martinez goes like 4 or 5 innings, and then you go uh, Burns for 2. Um, Optimistic John, my guy. Um, you love me. I'm your favorite. Um, Pagan hasn't looked great lately. He hasn't. And this is all what we expected. Like we all said that at some point the bullpen is going to get burnt out, and Pagan has gotten burnt out. It's just how it is. And the Reds did nothing at the trade deadline to make him less burnt out. And I bought it at the time, like the naive person I am. I was like, yeah, this pushes Martinez to the bullpen. It's great. And then Burns is hurt. Well, hurt. Burns isn't pitching right now. So then Martinez had to start for a little bit. Lodolo was hurt too, so that's why he had to start. And then the bullpen again is left for dead. Ashcraft's on the injured list with an elbow injury. Just why they didn't add 1 or 2 arms, it just I don't understand. It seemed like bullpen arms get traded so just willy-nilly at the deadline, and and yeah, it just makes no sense to me that they didn't make more of a play for a reliever, because it feels like they barely even pitch Martinez out of the bullpen. It seems like he pitches once a week out of the pen. It's just so bizarre. I don't understand why they pitched last night. But here we are. Throw in the chat your predictions for the night. Zack Littell on the mound for the Reds and Shane Bieber on the bump for the Blue Jays. In my opinion, this is the biggest game of the year. They need to win this game to go into the Met series 4 back. It would be huge if you could sweep the Mets and be 4 back now, because then you're 1 back. But yeah, when have the Reds shown us the ability to play in these big games like this? They talk about it. They're like, yeah, we're a playoff team. Shout out Gavin Lux for saying that, as we're once again fading in September. But here we are. In the chat, someone's at 8-3 Blue Jays. That's probably the area I'm going. I think the Reds bullpen's kind of cooked. Littell gives up a lot of homers. The Blue Jays hit homers. They really have this series. He gave up 3 homers last time to the Blue Jays. So yeah, I will say that it will be a Blue Jays win tonight. It'd be nice if, Delhi could go deep or something. That'd be cool. Like I said, the power's kind of been gone. One guy I want to shout out real quick is Brian Hayes. That guy, man, what a shout out Nick Kroll for that trade, because that trade was awesome. Marte hasn't been perfect in right field, but He's been better in right field than he'd probably be at third base. And one thing about Marte at third is he wasn't even getting through the games because they would put Espinal in. And I like Espinal as a defender, but when you lose Marte's bat, it's crushing. So that trade has worked out for many reasons. And I think Marte will be a good right fielder, well, at least an average right fielder. He's got speed. He's got an awesome arm. I mean, he's thrown several guys out at the plate already. Just the routes to balls he needs to work on, his jumps, and yeah. But the Key Brian Hayes edition, I really like. That's my favorite Hayes. Today at least. Check back tomorrow. But yeah, that is it for this pregame show. I'm sorry that you guys had to get just me. Just how the schedule works sometimes. I am back on next Wednesday. Not sure with who. I believe it's Hunter. Me and Hunter again. But yeah, thank you for watching the Cincinnati Reds pregame show. Trace and Nick are after the game, I think. Have a good night. Go Reds.